I'm very happy to have with us an expert. He is at the intersection of agriculture and technology. He has built his own startup some 4 or 5 years ago, I think. So let's listen to him. Right now, we have with us Akhilesh Jain. Over to you, Akhilesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Subodh. As we were talking a bit earlier, my interests, or I would say, where I belong into the AgTech large space is predominantly into two sectors. One is on the analytical side, and second is on the drone technology. I'll talk a bit about the use and importance of crop analytics through use of technology. Was the situation in India a few years back, what it is today, and where do we see this technology going henceforward in India and globally? Um, Let me begin with the times when India um, was at a stage where it was advancing in technology in every sector, be it automobiles, be it electronics. I mean, you name it, and India has really advanced in technology. But agriculture, specifically into analytics and statistics, this um, adoption of technology has not been there. Even till today, I would say the penetration is very low. India has definitely molded itself and accepted the use of technology in terms of farm input devices, but not so much into statistics. There is no such platform, or there is no such published information which is accurate making use of technology. Now today, sitting in USA, you can tell that in a state like probably Rajasthan, in a district called Tong, you can today tell through use of remote sensing technology that these crops are grown, this is the acreage. You can predict the yield coming forward, you can monitor the crops, you can tell pest outbreaks, and so many other things, which was not there earlier. um, all this information earlier was collected by way of manual procedures, by sending people on the field, by collecting data through the ground officers, agricultural officers, and it was all manual, and manual procedures often lead to manipulation. That's where the birth of technology really happened, and that's how we also actually came into existence about 4 years back. We realized this gap, the problem statement, that until unless the agricultural ecosystem migrates from manual procedures to use of technology in crop analytics, we cannot really bring the revolution what the government today looks at, or the world looks at today towards agriculture, all the stakeholders in the agricultural ecosystem expect out from, which is increase of income of farmers, increase of yield of various crops. India is a huge country. Majority of the land is agricultural. 70% of the contribution in GDP is in agriculture. So why there is not so much adoption of technology in it? Um, Fortunately, things have in the past couple of years taken a different turn. There has been a large use of technology at all levels, I would say, not just at the government or the corporate level, but even at the grassroots level. Today farmers are making use of mobile application where they can get various advisories. Agrotech provides these services to farmers at free of cost. We give them advisory on weather forecasts, on soil health analysis, and multiple other information, which actually helps them in a certain way of increasing their income eventually. If a farmer wants to look at changing his cropping pattern.
Hmm.
Majority of the farmers today in India, millions of farmers are dependent on only growing wheat and rice because there is MSP in it. They don't
Yeah.
want to take a chance. They don't want to take a chance in moving from this crop, from cereal to any other crop, which could eventually probably give them more income, but they don't want to risk it
Right.
because they are sure and they are comfortable growing wheat and rice. So, such information through use of technology is slowly making an impact at the grassroots level, at the farmer levels. Farmers are slowly making use of technology, and more so, I would say, there has been a huge impact in India by farmers accepting drones for spraying of pesticides and fertilizers.
Okay.
We ourselves have deployed multiple locations, tens of drones, and helping farmers in spraying pesticides and fertilizers on their crops.
Okay.
And we have seen a great impact on the benefits, such as, I'd like to share a couple of them with you
Yeah,
here.
please.
One of them is saving water.
Yeah.
So a usual traditional way of spraying pesticides through hand pumps or even boom barriers uh, takes around 100 liters of water, 100 to 150 liters of water for 1 acre.
Yeah.
Whereas through drones today, I can spray pesticide on 1 acre of land with just 8 to 10 liters of water. So that's almost 1/10. It's a
Yeah.
huge impact
It's
on
a huge.
sustainability
Right. It is.
and
Yeah.
and saving of water.
By the
Then
way, do you
second,
need less fertilizer and pesticide in this way, or there's no efficiency there?
so I'm coming to that. Yes,
Okay.
that's a very good question, Otto. I'll cover that point. So second, more important point here is that we I personally went onto the fields while doing trials, and I asked the farmers, did you really enjoy using drones for spraying your pesticide, and what is the difference do you think? Because for a farmer, um, his main job is farming, so
Right.
he does not mind spraying pesticides or fertilizers himself.
Right.
He has sufficient time to do that.
Right.
And large farmers and millionaire farmers, they make use of labor to do
Right.
so. But 86% of India's farmers are small and marginal farmers, and
Correct.
they are
Right.
ultimately doing this themselves. And
Correct.
what I have seen, Dr. Mathur, is they have actually said this thing that when we used to make spraying of pesticides ourselves, we used to get allergic reactions
Right.
because of harsh chemicals,
Yeah.
especially when they spray it in fields like paddy or sugarcane or maize, which are large crops or difficult crops in difficult terrains. So making use of drones has actually helped them, and to some extent, I would say also increasing the yield, because when you spray through drones, it evenly spreads,
Right.
whereas doing it manually.
Right.
Coming on to your question, that does it help in reduction in use of pesticides and fertilizer? I would say yes, but not just through spraying of drones. It has to be amalgamated with the use of the software as well.
Okay.
So like our class platform, this basically helps identify the areas where the stress is more, where you need more pesticide or where you need more fertilizers, and then couple that with spraying of pesticides and fertilizers through drones. That actually does reduction in use, and eventually reducing the cost on the farmer's pocket.
Okay. So
Plus,
what's your
yeah,
business model? Where do you get your revenues from? The
right.
farmers pay, of course.
Yes, of course. So I discussed about two verticals
Yeah.
within Agritech. One is the SaaS model, so
Yeah.
software as a service. So we are providing services to various stakeholders like FMCG companies, agri input companies,
Okay.
banks, insurance companies,
Yeah.
commodity traders.
Yeah.
All of them use our platform to take the intel on the ground, basically
Right.
all sorts of crop analytics. That's one revenue model, and second is we have drone as a service vertical, where we have deployed these spraying drones, and we are working with agri input companies
Yeah.
like Bayer and Syngenta and IFCO, of these sorts. So
Okay.
these are the major revenue models for us.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. And uh, what's your background? How did you get into all of this? I know we don't teach these things in our colleges and so on.
Yeah.
So, what motivated you? How did you get into it?
So I've been in in insurance background for over a decade, and we've been closely monitoring Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which when it was launched in India in 2016.
Yeah,
At that particular time, we realized that since it's a yield based scheme,
yeah,
so yield was calculated manually by
yeah,
sending people on the ground, doing
right.
crop cutting experiments, and then actually coming out with it. And then India is, as I mentioned, such a huge country that it is practically impossible to do crop cutting experiments all throughout the country in one season,
Yeah,
uh, which eventually led to delay in claim settlement of farmers.
yeah.
And since it was all manual, so there were manipulations happening. A
Mm,
farmer with let's say $10,000 of loss used to end up getting $500, and vice versa.
okay.
So these things actually um, you know guided us and motivated us in coming out with something which can migrate these manual procedures to use of technologies. That's where the
Okay.
birth of Agritech happened.
Yeah, okay, I understand. To get insurance, you need the estimate of the loss accurately.
Correct.
If you don't have an
Correct.
accurate estimate, your insurance scheme cannot work. Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. So, but then where did you get all these technologies from? I mean, as you said, you are an insurance expert. So all these ideas, where did they come from?
So, so it's, I would not say it's a brainchild of one person. It
Yeah.
it was multiple, people in a team. Then we found some solution somewhere, and basically it was a jigsaw puzzle which we collected together and solved it and created a very beautiful and sophisticated platform.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe some like to give you a demo of that.
No, it's a lovely program. I mean, we are, uh, the thing is that, as you rightly, I mean, I agree with you that, the urban areas have embraced new technologies, but the rural areas, because the old method. I mean, I am old enough to remember the introduction of the gold green revolution,
Mm.
and we used to have agricultural extension, which was a copy of the US 1880s model
Mm.
agricultural extension, and that was the only way to get information out to the farmers.
Mm.
But it still
Mm.
did not uh, automate anything. It didn't have any better way of collecting data, of collecting anything. And of course, long ago, the British had introduced in famines, the land revenue was based on the crop output,
Mm.
right? So, there were 16 annas to a rupee, and the collector would certify that this year's crop is 12 annas. Okay, so it's only
Mm.
3/4 of the normal crop. So then you would pare down the. So there was some idea that you'd have to have this information of growth and loss, and then land revenue and all. So this is historical,
True.
but it was all un scientific. It was all very manual, and as you said, you only said manipulation. I would have added corruption, but maybe you are too polite.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I didn't want to say that, but yeah,
so
that's accurate.
it's you need, and if you're going to bring in the finance, into agriculture, which is actually the main revolution in the last few years. That you are not just lending money to the farmers, you are also looking at the front end, at the crop, and the MSP, of course, is an innovation, but it's also a deadening innovation, as you have said.
Yeah,
That
yeah, that, and we've started doing that as well.
yeah,
We are also into now Act FinTech, where we have a platform which gives farmer credit scoring. We are giving a platform for farmers to apply for loans.
yeah,
They don't have to, give underapproval to branch managers for taking the loans, and paying to them for processing it. They can just simply log on to and register on our platform, upload their documents, and that's it.
yeah. Okay, so
Within no
this is
time, the
this
loan
is
is
great.
action.
This is great, because the finance, the 100-year-old money lender model has to go. So
Yeah,
we need to have modern finance in the reach of the farmers, and
very true.
without the
Very,
information, you cannot have modern finance. You cannot have it,
absolutely,
because
absolutely,
modern finance is based on data and information. You have to have that.
absolutely.
Okay, so I'm really glad that you are doing this, and uh, just as part of the general discussion, I mean, uh, where do you see the future? Your future, your company's future, and India's agricultural future, where do you see it?
Future, I think, is extremely bright. No matter that there is so much of gung-ho about agri-tech sector in India and this and that, but I think all put together, everything, particularly talking about India, all put together for all the revolutions and evolutions and
Your volume
innovations.
has gone down quite a bit.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. So I was saying that, all the things which have gone down today in the agri-tech sector is probably not even 2% of the potential the country has, or
Mhm.
the work which we should do. It's a long way to go. The future is very, very bright. There is no way that the agriculture sector in India can do without use of technology. It has to happen. It is happening. It is growing, and in every space, I'm talking about end to end. I divide the agricultural sector in three phases. The sowing phase, the cultivation phase, the harvest phase, and of course the post harvest phase, the most important one. And in every space and in every area, there is immense use of technology still to be adopted, still to be created, and I think the country has a bright future for all agricultural and ag tech startups, be it in, as I said, analytics or statistics, be it in market linkages, input purchase, output purchase, e-marketplace, fintech, um, whatever it is,
Okay.
and also, in use of UAVs,
Okay.
which is immensely going forward. There is huge support of the Indian government promoting use of drones in the agriculture sector. So I think the future is pretty bright.
Okay. Can I ask you about post-harvest losses? What's happening in that?
So, what precisely you want to? Because post harvest losses is a very big subject.
Yeah,
So,
I
what
just
what
want a very
precisely
quick
you want me to talk
assessment
about?
as to whether, it used to be that quite a large proportion of the crop was lost before it actually got to even the wholesale market. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even
or
in the
even
wholesale market, the storage was not really right. I mean, you hear the stories, the government buys at MSP and then stores, and there's quite a bit of loss, even though They are trying. So is there any new technology to reduce the losses? What's happening? You might know. If you don't know, it's okay.
No, so I do know, and so one event leads to another. In post harvest, there is a domino effect. And what actually happens is, if you're not monitoring the procurement at mandis, you will eventually lead to a lot of mistakes that actually is happening. So what happens is that a farmer in Uttar Pradesh will end up selling his produce in Haryana, and all these things. The total production of Haryana could be X number of tons, whereas they end up procuring Y number of tons, and they don't have sufficient capacities for storage.
Yeah.
And then the grains end up rotting up in their warehouses, in bags outside the warehouses or the silos. So it is extremely important that use of technology also has to be done accurately and correct. You can't just say that, okay, I have ironed out a particular level of process, and post harvest loss will be taken care of. No, it has to be done step by step, in every layer by layer. Things need to be ironed out properly. Then post harvest losses can be handled. It's not rocket science. The only thing is that they have to be identified and plugged at the right place. And all of this can only be done by use of technology. So
Okay.
technology has to play a pivotal role in this entire thing. Without use of technology, post harvest losses cannot be curtailed.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any last final words you have to offer? Anything else you want to tell us?
So I think India in particular and the world has a great future in agricultural technology. I think people need to be, of course.
Your voice is fading completely. Yeah. Please come back. I couldn't hear.
Oh,
Yeah. Now it's good.
from where do I start again?
You were saying India has to do something and the world has to do something. So could you please start there?
Right. Okay. So I was saying that India and the world has definitely a great future in agricultural technology, but at the same time, it is very important that every agri-tech entrepreneur and founder must realize the importance of the delivery he's making, and how accurate it is making, because technology in agriculture all depends upon the level of accuracy you are giving. If I am analytics provider using remote sensing technology, or I am a market linkages software company, whatever it is, it is very important that I do it correctly and give my output in the most accurate way. Just by saying that I do it doesn't mean anything.
Okay. All right. I get your point that
Yeah.
this is a very clear message, and you are optimistic, which is very good. Uh, Anything else you want to add, or shall we end it today?
I think that's about it.
Okay. All
And
right.
as I said, probably, I'd like to someday give a demo of my class platform on your channel, so that a message can be given about its functionality, the use, and what all can be done today with the power of technology in agriculture.
Okay. Let's schedule it offline. We will do it. We'll schedule it, and you can do it.
Great.
So we'll do it. Let's end it here today, and we will get back to you. I also want to talk to you a few things offline. So please stay on.
Sure.
Okay. Right. Bye,
Sure.
everybody. I'll be back with another young
Thank you.
person or an expert soon. Bye.